Hello and welcome everyone to the UEFA Europa League Round of 16 draw, live from the House of European Football here in Nyon. How lucky we are to have been able to witness such an incredible competition this season. So far, we've seen matches of the highest quality, full of excitement and providing memorable moments as well. There was no better example of this than the knockout round playoff. 7 of the 8 ties featured a goal differential of 1 or equal after the first leg, which made last night's second legs must-see TV across Europe. We start our wrap-up in the north of England, where all eyes were on Old Trafford after falling behind early. Second-half goals from Fred and Anthony were enough to see Manchester United through, eyes firmly set on winning a third Europa League title. There was also high drama on the Mediterranean coast as Monaco and Leverkusen couldn't separate themselves after 120 minutes of play. In the end, the Germans progressed, following a penalty shootout, joining fellow Bundesliga side Union Berlin in the round of 16. That wasn't the only tie that was decided via a penalty shootout. Thanks to 3 saves from goalkeeper Anatoly Trubin, Shakhtar Donetsk advanced at the expense of Rennes. Roma's campaign for a second consecutive European trophy after winning the UEFA Europa Conference League last season is alive, and well, thanks to a tie-turning 2-0 victory against Salzburg. Elsewhere, record title holders Sevilla survived a late scare from PSV Eindhoven to put them one step closer to a 7th Europa League title, while in Denmark, a strong 4-0 win for Sporting against Midtjylland was more than enough for them to progress. Juventus are also through after a 4-1 aggregate victory versus Nantes. Now, those 8 winning clubs will now be drawn against the 8 group winners for what is sure to be another exciting round of action. Of course, the mission is still far from complete, as the ultimate goal is for everyone who can make it to the final and lift this iconic trophy on the 31st of May in Budapest. So, with no further ado, let's look at all of the 16 teams who will be in today's draw. We are all on the road to Budapest, and I'm sure we have an exciting round of 16 ahead of us. But who will play who? That's what we'll find out shortly. It's now time for me to invite on stage the man who will oversee today's draw proceedings. That is, of course, UEFA Deputy General Secretary, Giorgio Marchetti. Welcome, Giorgio.
Thank you, Pedro, and good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Last week's touching tributes across UEFA club competition matches reminded us that there are terrible moments in life, like those that the people in Turkey and Syria are going through right now. Football is not just a sport, but also a force of good that unites us. We are with you, dear friends. The European football family stands firmly with you. Now, from the thrill of victory to the pain of defeat and everything in between. Amazing goals, brilliant saves and last-minute game-deciding moments in this year's Europa League have truly made us feel every emotion. The knockout round playoffs were no exception in this regard. Congratulations to the 8 victors, including Shakhtar Donetsk, who are playing their matches abroad in difficult conditions. Good luck to all. You must now quickly turn the page and focus on the 8 group winners. Special mention to those who have reached this stage for the very first time, Union Berlin, Freiburg and Union Saint-Gilloise, who are shining in their first European campaign. Today's draw features a diverse mix of 16 teams from 10 countries across Europe, including 6 former champions, each bringing their unique style, tactics and talent that is sure to give us mouth-watering clashes and more magical moments as we progress ever closer to this year's final in Budapest. And to assist us once again, the Hungarian legend and ambassador of the UEFA Europa League Final 2023, Zoltán Kera.
And here he is with us in Nyon, our special guest, Zoltán Kera. Zoltán, great to see you again. You're becoming quite a veteran at these draws. I know you're following the competition very closely. What did you think of the knockout playoff round? What stood out for you?
I saw some beautiful games, especially Manchester United, Barcelona. I think that was a great tie and excited games. So I think the teams I look around, it's only big teams. So if you go to this stage of the, in this competition, you will be doing something really good.
Now this competition is pretty special for you because you're ambassador this year, but also you helped Fulham get to the final in 2010, scoring 6 goals in that campaign. Tell us about what it means to you and when you look back at your impact in this competition in your career.
Yeah, when I went to the Premier League, for me that was like Champions League, Europa League, because we played in the really good teams against, and I had the chance to experience how we can play in the Europe against the big teams like Juventus, Shakhtar Donetsk, Wolfsburg. So I enjoyed every single minute when we was in the Europa League, and we had such a good teams, and yeah, I just enjoyed myself, and also when you represent your country, and it's something special.
Speaking about representing your country, of course, the countdown continues to Budapest. How are preparations going? How are people feeling about this competition? And it must be special as well, because you still have a team in it, right?
Yes, for me, I think it's even special, more special, because Ferencváros is still in the Europa League, and the next game will be in the Puskás Arena. Ferencváros will play there, so I think it will be a good test. I had lots of wishes who they want to play against. So
pressure's on.
Some of them will be disappointed, some of them will be happy. So I think some supporters will call my name shortly.
I'm sure they will. All right, we're getting closer to the draw, but first we must complete the panel here. I'd like to call up here on stage Tobias Hedgestuk, the head of club competitions, will explain the technical procedure as well. Welcome, Toby.
Thank you, Bredo. Good afternoon, everyone. For today's draw, every group winner will be drawn against the winner of the knockout round playoffs from a different association. The group winners are seeded and play the second leg at home, whereas the winners of the knockout round playoffs play the first leg at home. Each of the 8 pairings will be determined by drawing one of the winners of the knockout round playoffs first, and then one of the eligible group winners. The 8 balls containing the names of the knockout round playoff winners are all placed in one ball, while the containing the names of their potential opponents are picked from the different group winners' pots just in front of me. After drawing each knockout round playoff winners, the computer will indicate which group winners can be drawn, bearing in mind that teams from the same country cannot play against each other. The relevant balls will be placed into the other ball, where one ball will be drawn to form a pairing with the knockout round playoff winners already drawn. Should we have only one team eligible to be drawn against a particular knockout round playoffs winners, there will be no draw and the 2 teams will be paired directly. This procedure is then repeated until we have all the 8 pairings. After the draw and in accordance with the competition regulations, the UEFA administration will determine the final fixture list. The results will be announced at the latest at 18 hours CET. Now you have all the information you need, so let me hand the floor back to Giorgio as we are ready to proceed with the draw.
Yes, all the information is there. Probably we should just remind ourselves of the 16 teams which will feature in this draw. Starting with the group winners, we have Arsenal, Fenerbahce, Real Betis, Nyon Saint-Gilloise, Real Sociedad, Feyenoord, SC Freiburg, and Ferencváros. The winners of the knockout playoffs are Manchester United, Juventus, Sporting Clube de Portugal, FC Shakhtar Donetsk, FC Union Berlin, Bayer Leverkusen, Sevilla, and Roma. Everything is ready, so I just need to hand the floor over to our legend and friend Zoltan, who will start delivering the pairings one after the other, so don't be worried. You will not be killed, don't worry.
FC Union Berlin.
So starting with FC Union Berlin, who has 7 opponents of the 8 possible because of the country clash with SC Freiburg. So Freiburg will not be put in the bowl. Union Berlin are for the first time in this round of 16, and they came here by defeating the one former winner of this trophy, Ajax, yesterday in the playoffs.
Union Saint-Gilloise.
And Union calls Union, so we have Union Berlin against Union Saint-Gilloise, exactly as we had already in the group phase. Clearly these 2 clubs love each other. Also Union Saint-Gilloise are for the very first time in the round of 16, which means that for the very first time we will have one of these 2 clubs in the quarterfinals.
Sevilla FC.
And now from first times we have the record winners of this trophy. 6 times they lift the trophy, Sevilla FC. They can play against all the opponents except the 2 Spanish clubs, which are Real Betis and Real Sociedad.
Fenerbahce.
So Sevilla will play Fenerbahce, also a former winner of the trophy. Fenerbahce, they played the semi-final in 2013, but their stadium hosted the final in 2009. So we are now with Sevilla versus Fenerbahce, and we are ready to see another team. It will be the first team drawn in pairing number 3.
Juventus.
And that is Juventus. So Juventus drawn first. Juventus can play against any of the remaining 6 group winners. No conditions for this draw. 3-time winners of the trophy and back to the Europa League after the semi-final of 2014. Six balls, one just drawn, and it bears the name of
FC Freiburg.
SC Freiburg. So the third pairing is Juventus versus Freiburg, which is a debutant at this stage of the competition, but with a very strong record so far, unbeaten in the group stage. We are ready to go ahead with another team to be halfway through.
Bayer Leverkusen.
Germany again. Now it's Bayer Leverkusen, former winners of the trophy. All 5 teams can be drawn against Bayer Leverkusen. That's the team with the most matches of any other teams in Germany in this competition. They played 53 matches in the Europa League and UEFA Cup, of course.
Ferencváros.
And here we are, Bayer Leverkusen versus Ferencváros versus the team from the city, the destination where everybody wants to be at the end of the season. So we'll now see if Ferencváros can make another step towards a final in their city. But they will have a tough job against Leverkusen, of course.
Sporting Clube de Portugal.
Sporting Clube. 4 possible group winners, all 4 are for Sporting, finalists of 2005, Sporting Clube. The final played in their stadium, Alvalade.
Arsenal FC.
Sporting will face Arsenal in the round of 16. Twice finalists Arsenal. The last time was in 2019. An all-English tie versus Chelsea. And we are ready now to learn the teams in the next pairing.
Manchester United.
So this time it is Manchester United, winners 6 years ago in Stockholm. So they can be drawn against any of the 3 remaining teams. They were unbeaten in their last 7 matches in the UEFA Europa League Round of 16. 4 wins and 3 draws.
Real Betis.
So Manchester United versus Real Betis is this pairing. 6 times in this round for Real Betis. Very good tie. Again, Spain for United after defeating FC Barcelona yesterday.
AS Roma.
And now we have the title holders of the UEFA Europa Conference League, winners of the very first final played in that competition. So Roma can be drawn against one of the 2 remaining group winners, Real Sociedad or Feyenoord.
Real Sociedad.
And that is Real Sociedad. So Roma versus Real Sociedad. We will not have a rematch of the Conference League final. So Feyenoord is still in the bowl. But let's see now, just to make sure that we have done everything correctly. We have
FC Shakhtar Donetsk.
Shakhtar Donetsk, obviously, and Shakhtar Donetsk will face the last team left, which is Feyenoord, twice winners of this trophy. With this, we have everything we need to know, all the 8 matches. Pedro.
We do have all matches set. Thank you, gentlemen. Don't know if Zoltán Gera is going to get in trouble or not for that Ferencváros match, but he'll find out as soon as we're done. Let's have a recap of what we can expect in the next round. Union Berlin taking on Union Saint-Gilloise. Sevilla playing Fenerbahce. Juventus taking on Freiburg. Bayer Leverkusen playing Ferencváros. Sporting Clube Portugal playing Arsenal. Manchester United taking on Real Betis. AS Roma playing Real Sociedad. And Shakhtar Donetsk facing Feyenoord. The round of 16 matches will be on the 9th of March. That's the first legs. And the second leg week after on the 16th. That'll do it from all of us here at the House of European Football in Nyon. For Zoltán, Giorgio, Toby and myself, it's goodbye. Take care. Enjoy the rest of this fantastic competition, the UEFA Europa League.